Well, with the new year coming, New Year's resolutions, best of intentions and all that, how long do they last is the question. And what do you tangibly do to move that best intention into reality, move it forward? Well, for some of us, it's about goals for the year ahead. A very small percentage, though, actually managing to tick those off the list after 12 months' time. Well, my next guest, a qualified neuroscientist, saying people can actually improve their chances of success in business by understanding their unconscious mind. Divya Hemnani, neuroscientist and founder of the Intrinsic Brilliance Institute, joining me now. We all like some brilliance on display. It's actually being able to tap the latent, I suppose, areas that one just hasn't turned one's attention to or hasn't recognized exist. Talk to me about your own background and the way you're using skills within science to really practically change people's outlooks and their ways of doing, you know, business, their careers.
Absolutely. So I have degrees in neuroscience, psychology and cognitive sciences, as well as have studied neurolinguistic programming and a variety of other transformation modalities. And throughout all of the different training that I've done, I have recognized some patterns that exist. And one of these patterns is we humans, we like to think of ourselves as single individuals, like that I is one thing.
Yes.
But in reality, I is made up of many different parts. Have you ever had an experience where part of you would like one thing and another part wants something totally different? That's a true and lived experience we all have.
Right.
And so when we're setting goals, we have to consider how all of our parts align as well. And so one of the things that we teach in our framework is how to do that. Is how to align head brain, heart brain, and gut brain, right?
Yes.
People think that we have just one brain, but we actually have all three.
Is this a one-off exercise? Does this serve up a eureka moment of awareness, of understanding, once the alignment is achieved? Once those three are in position, is that the breakthrough moment?
Yeah.
Or is it a case of we must revisit this, we must come back in another 12 months?
So it depends on where a person is on their journey, but I have worked with countless entrepreneurs and people in business that when they recognize that there's friction where what they really want is flow, right? And they'll come in and see me, and we'll do the multiple brain integration alignment, and from that they can access their highest order decision making. And the flow-on effects of that in business are really, truly quite profound, down to the revenue and profits, right?
Is it a case of, I mean, what typically is blocking the flow? If I can continue on the metaphor. Yeah.
The neuroplasticity one-on-one is basically that anytime we think a thought, we think it more quickly and more easily, right? And so most people are dominant in one brain rather than proficient in all three. So atrophy occurs in the other brains, right? So they might be head brain dominant rather than fully aligned with the heart and the gut. And these brains, they provide valuable information in different areas. So if there's been atrophy, we have to regenerate those neural networks.
Yes. I mean, what I'm intrigued at is how you take this and you do it in a seminar where there's many people sitting out there coming, for the good oil, as it were. But equally, you've talked of the one-on-one executive who will come and see you, which is much more bespoke. It's about, I mean, for instance, that identification, step one, are you more of a head or are you more of a gut and heart? Making that analysis, making that diagnosis.
And and for the particular issue. But if you have an image in your mind of me speaking to an audience of 500, that totally no. Right. So we do small group seminars, and when we go into organizations and work with teams, it's specifically to a small, like 30 or less. Okay. And we guide them through self-reflection questions to figure out where they are, and we do partner activities so that they can help each other, support each other through. So we demonstrate and model the process for them using a participant, and then they can do that with each other. It's very effective in groups as well.
How long do those channels typically remain open, and how susceptible are they to bunging up?
They remain open until somebody does something to bung them up. Right. And depends on the person's lifestyle. And
if I'm clumsy, for instance, am I prone, therefore, to a quicker,
Well, it's like asking how long's a piece of string. So
well,
I have sometimes they remain open for a month or two before there's anything that comes out. But in the case of when we do these, we run a program at the beginning of each year called the Visioning Retreat. Okay. And for the Visioning Retreat, we help people achieve alignment for these goals that they have. They implant them in their unconscious, and then basically they can go away and forget about them. And what consistently happens is at the end of the year, they say, wow, I achieved everything that I set out to achieve. Yes. Because they spend a whole weekend implanting them.
And you've got to wonder as well, there's so much more to this. For instance, even can you do a 180 and can you consider a whole new world that wasn't part of your worldview before that moment? So that's leading to other, perhaps areas that we haven't, unfortunately, time to explore. In fact, we must leave it there. But you did mention the upcoming retreat taking place shortly, right?
Yes. For anyone who would love to learn about how to turn their goals into real life lived experiences, they can visit intrinsicbrilliance.com.au/visioning-retreat to learn more.
Days away, early Feb.
Yes.
So be there, be square.
February 3rd through 5th.
Right. Divya Hemnani, thank you so much from the Brilliance Institute. All the very best.
Thank you,
All right, good.